Welcome or welcome back to Pewdiepie. I'm Zui and I hope you enjoyed today's video. But before we get right into it, I'm obligated to remind you to click either the like or dislike button, commenting something down below, and of course sharing the video so more people can see and enjoy it. This is very important as it helps with the YouTube algorithm. I want you to know that your help is greatly appreciated. If you have any suggestions or ideas for a story, my Discord link is in my link tree that is down in the description, as well as my Patreon and Ko-fi for any donations you may want to send my way. Every cent counts. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed today's video. It has been a few months of agonizing studies. Sure, you were motivated. But now, after what happened at the training camp, you were forced to live in dorms. Your father had a very specific way of getting lessons into your skull. And that was through reverse psychology. Were you embarrassed that such a cheap trick worked on you? Sure you were. But were you angry at him for doing so? Of course not. After all, it was the only thing that actually got you to do your homework and studies. Of course, you could give him a call, but that just wasn't the same. And you needed help since you were quickly falling behind. Maybe you could join those cram sessions with Momo. But then again, that also wasn't the same. The girl was arguably a great teacher. Yet the distractions coming from Mina and Kaminari were simply too much. Plus, Momo wasn't dominant enough to get things into your head. You needed someone assertive. With heavy-lidded eyes, you stared at a chemistry worksheet while lying on the comfy sofa in the dorm's common room. Outside, heavy rain pitter-pattered against the window. Rain always made you so sleepy. You suppressed a heavy yawn. Your vision started to become blurry. If it weren't for the importance of this, you would take a nap. The gears in your head began to turn. No, this could not keep happening. You should man up and just do it. 10 minutes later, your own snoring awoke you, and water began filling your eyes. Why were you like this? With a gloomy expression, you raised your body before rubbing your hands in your face. You needed to wake up, preferably yesterday. Your stomach turned as you gazed back at the chemistry sheet. Ugh, I hate you, you mumbled. How was that? You heard a few meters behind you. That was Bakugou's voice. After a moment of silence, heavy stomps approached you. Oh, hey Bakugo, you muttered, suddenly feeling very intimidated. As his heavy hands crashed behind you on the sofa. And why would you hate me, idiot? He growled at your neck. Slowly you turned your head to look at him. The blonde's cheeks were red from anger, and his crimson eyes focused entirely on you. I wasn't talking to you, you whimpered. I was talking to the chemistry homework. Bakugo blinked. But that crap is easy. Stop lying, he barked. Yeah, easy. When you have a normal attention span, sure. And maybe some discipline. You gulped down a sigh as you combed through your hair and thought. Well, you were already talking to the closest thing UA has to a school bully. Well, unlike Monomoa, you could actually take serious as a threat. So you could try. Hey, Katsuki? You asked. Would you mind helping me with this? He sighed, but it sounded more like a growl. He jumped over the back of the sofa and sat down next to you.
The hell do you need help with? If it's stupid, I'll leave.
He sounded more annoyed than willing. But you also knew that he was the closest thing to your father as he could be, which sounded weirder now that you thought about it. Honestly, you felt stupid for not realizing it sooner, though. With an embarrassed chuckle, you handed him the sheet. It's everything. Bakugo closed his eyes for a moment. He genuinely seemed like he was about to blow a fuse.
We talked about this shit in class so many times. You got to be fucking kidding me. Do you not listen?
I do. You tried to defend yourself. It's just as soon as I'm out of the building, any attention and attempt at learning fails. He sighed heavily, maybe a little too dramatic. And for a moment he looked outside, as if there was something. Maybe he was just thinking. Truthfully, you never knew of what he was thinking. That made him special. And after he didn't reply, for a while, you opened your stupid trap of a mouth once again. Are you thinking of helping me, or are you thinking of an insult for lazy old me? Slowly his head turned towards you in a threatening way.
I'm not here to baby you extras.
This was the first time him calling you an extra stung, and you could feel your lips quiver, before breaking out in full-blown sobs. I'm sorry, Bakugo. I just can't learn on my own. I need help, but I'm too much of a sarcastic idiot to follow through. I need discipline, I know. Please, you're the only guy in our class, or this school for that matter, with the personality I need to properly learn. I mean, seriously, where do I find a guy with the balls to call me useless? That I never get it. An idiot, an extra, pathetic, worthless. I need that as motivation. I need motivation to prove them wrong. He blinked, taken aback by your outburst.
It sounds more like abuse to me.
Why was this turning him on a little bit? You sank back into the softness of the sofa, and a grin suddenly appeared on his face, as he was attempting to suppress a blush.
Okay, so what do you want?
He chuckled. You crossed your arms and looked away with a pout. What do you mean? You're not gonna do it, so why bother?
I mean, you want someone to insult you while you learn for motivation, right?
You blushed. It's not like that. He laughed loudly.
Holy crap. I thought you idiots are at least somewhat normal. Jesus, how broken are you? You're lucky I like that.
You hissed before looking at him. One of our classmates is literally a humanoid bird. One of my mother's co-workers is a sentient pumpkin. We are the school to become superheroes. Have you looked outside? This world isn't normal. He grinned.
Spoken like a villain, huh?
Again, you pouted at him. I'm not the bad guy. I'm just lazy. Can't you just help me, for God's sake? He rubbed his eyes, seemingly in thought.
Well, I don't want to waste my time with idiots.
You shrugged. See, that's what I mean. His brows furrowed.
The fuck are you talking about?
Your heart began to pound as your emotions began to boil. Now you made me want to learn so I can prove to you I'm worth your time and effort.
Bakugo blinked. He was about to break out in laughter again. If he was a little more honest with himself, he would call you cute right now. However, at the same time, Katsuki understood that that might be exactly what you didn't need to hear right now. At least not yet. With an amused grin, he crossed his arms.
Alright, I bite. But I want you to do something in return.
Your eyes met. And you blushed ever so slightly.
The other idiots in our class will most definitely want to join our little, cram sessions, should they find out you're actually improving with my lessons.
So? You asked with intrigue.
I ain't planning on wasting my time with those lowlifes. So I'll make you an offer. I'll help you if we disguise our little learn group as dates.
You blushed, taken aback by his words. What, you wanna date me?
When did I say I want to date you? I said it's a sham. It's a joke. It's a pretend thing. So, what do you say?
Bakugo asked with a forced, toothy grin. You blushed slightly harder. Oh, I never had a boyfriend.
I didn't say I'd be your boyfriend. We just call them dates.
Your heart pounded.
All I said is I'll help with your stupid homework.
You felt a little challenged right now. Or was this just part of his game? You felt a little excitement fill your entire being. More specifically, it felt like a million butterflies were released in your stomach. If this worked out, this would not only help you in the long run, you might actually get him permanently to push you forward, even after school had ended. With a cheeky grin, you looked straight at his face. Sure thing, Bakugo, but if we really... You put some extra emphasis on your next word. Pretend. Then we need to do lovey-dovey nickname stuff. To make it more believable. Now it was him who turned to blush.
I mean, fine, he barked.
If someone else was here, they would have noticed the tension rising up inside the both of you. Despite your lack of initial attraction towards one another, you now wanted him. Actually, he wanted you too. And he really liked shouting at you. Yes, those would be some interesting mind games that would start between the two of you. It was 3 weeks. 3 weeks of the two of you sitting in the library, in the common room, empty classrooms, almost daily, just learning, making stupid jokes, and flirts disguised as insults. He was super into it, and sometimes you wondered how many of them were genuine, which ones were jokes, but most importantly, who would take the first step? Of course, your classmates thought this first step had already happened. They practically ate up your lie. In fact, your friend Uraraka seemed a bit disappointed. Maybe she wanted to be the girl in the first relationship of Class 1A. You'd be lying if you said it didn't give you a sick sense of satisfaction. Right now, you and Bakugo were sitting in an empty classroom, normally used by the Light Music Club. Bakugo was intently looking over an essay you wrote for biology about single-celled organisms. And? How is it? He said proudly.
It sucks.
What? Without warning, he grabbed the upper half of the paper with both hands before tearing it into two. I worked really hard on that!
I didn't see any of that, you loser!
He shouted. But... Bakugo raised an eyebrow. So far you had taken every insult with stride. He was just too focused on trying to satisfy your urges that he didn't notice the switch within you. At some point during these last couple of days, it became less about proving him wrong, but more about making him proud. So he was shocked as he watched you break down. It took all the fun out. Confused, he looked at you. Waited. He waited for your sobs to turn into laughs. He waited for you to say, "Got you," when he attempted to cheer you up. But even this, even his cold and stoic heart eventually could no longer resist. Sighing, he pulled you closer to him.
"It's just a stupid essay,"
he said quietly.
"It's fine. Stop crying. Please."
You didn't respond. He just sat there. And eventually, he got enough of it. Quietly, he lifted you into his arms. Around this time, the nurse's office was empty because Recovery Girl went on a smoke break, while chatting up her old high school flame to talk about old times. She would be gone until 5 p.m. 2 hours. He carried you over to an empty bed, closed the blinds, before lying down next to you, pulling you close. It took you a full 10 minutes to realize what he just did. You sniffed and looked around yourself. A nurse's office? You asked.
Uh-huh.
But that's where couples go to.
I know.
Recovery Girl's office had been secretly used by third and second year couples to hide lewd acts in the privacy of the beds. The school was none the wiser thanks to Recovery Girl's negligence when there were no patients. You blushed. Wait, but why? And without warning, he forced his lips onto yours. His mouth was soft and wet, and it tasted like the Coke he had been drinking not too long ago. It was actually kind of delicious. The sweet salvia mixed with yours when your tongues touched, gently rubbing over one another. A thread of spittle connected both of your mouths when you eventually pulled back. Bakugo. You stuttered, perplexed.
No talking. Just stay close to me. Got it? I'll help you with your stupid homework later.